For over 2,000 years, the Age of Pisces has shaped the way we think, live, and perceive the world. Ruled by Neptune, the god of illusion, this age has been one of confusion, sacrifice, and a deep entanglement in the material and spiritual realms. The Age of Pisces is the age of duality, of separation between body and spirit, between the individual and the collective, between the known and the unknown. And yet, like all ages, it has served its purpose. It has shown us the depths of illusion, of sacrifice, and of the separation that we experience in our daily lives. But now, as we stand at the threshold of the Age of Aquarius, a new vision begins to emerge. Pythagoras, the great philosopher and mathematician, understood that when the stars shift, so must the soul. The transition from Pisces to Aquarius is not merely a change in the cosmic backdrop, it is a shift in consciousness. It is a call for the soul to awaken from its long sleep in the old dreams of sacrifice, martyrdom, and illusion. Aquarius is the sign of awakening, of higher consciousness, and of liberation. It is the sign of the individual breaking free from the constraints of society, of breaking the chains of old beliefs, and of embracing the truth of who we really are. Aquarius is the water bearer, the one who brings the waters of life to the thirsty, the one who pours forth the wisdom that has been hidden for so long. It is a symbol of enlightenment, of clarity, and of a new vision for humanity. The Age of Pisces taught us lessons of faith, surrender, and spiritual devotion. But it also trapped us in the illusion of separation. It taught us to look outside of ourselves for truth, for salvation, and for meaning. But Aquarius calls us to look within, to reclaim our sovereignty, and to recognize the divine that resides within each of us. Aquarius is the age of individuality, of collective consciousness, and of freedom, not just from the outside world, but from the shackles of our own minds and beliefs. In the Age of Aquarius, the soul awakens not to another cycle of suffering and sacrifice, but to a cycle of empowerment and liberation. It is a time for us to break free from the constraints of the past, to let go of the old dreams that have kept us asleep, and to embrace the freedom of awakening to our true selves. To understand the profound shift from the Age of Pisces to Aquarius, we must first recognize what the Age of Pisces has done to humanity. For 2 millennia, we have lived under the influence of Pisces, a sign that is deeply connected to illusion, sacrifice, and spirituality, but also to confusion and separation. Under Pisces, we have been taught that to be spiritual, we must transcend the material world. We have been told that true enlightenment comes through suffering, through renunciation, and through self-sacrifice. The masses have been trained to believe that to achieve salvation, we must give up who we are and bow to external authorities, whether religious, governmental, or societal. But these teachings, while offering deep truths, have also kept us trapped in a false narrative. The Age of Pisces has been an age of spiritual bypassing, an era where we turn to the heavens, the divine, or a higher power outside of ourselves, rather than turning within. We've been taught to look for saviors, prophets, and teachers to guide us, without realizing that the true teacher resides within, that our own inner wisdom, intuition, and connection to Source are all we need to unlock the door to freedom. Now, as we move into the Age of Aquarius, that door begins to open. Aquarius is the sign of the rebel, the innovator, and the free thinker. It is the energy of the individual awakening to their own power and sovereignty, but also the energy of collective unity. Aquarius is the water bearer who pours forth knowledge to nourish humanity, and the water it carries is the understanding that we are all interconnected, that we are all part of the same divine source, and that we are all capable of tapping into the infinite wisdom of the universe within. The Age of Aquarius asks us to break free from the constraints that have kept us limited. the constraints of organized religions, outdated political systems, and societal structures that were built on the old Piscean beliefs of separation. Aquarius asks us to see ourselves as part of the whole, to embrace our individuality, and to celebrate our unique gifts and talents without fear or shame. But it also asks us to recognize that our individual freedom is intertwined with the freedom of others, that true liberation comes not from isolation, but from collective awakening. This shift requires a deep transformation in consciousness. No longer can we cling to the old structures of the past. No longer can we look outside of ourselves for answers. The Age of Aquarius calls us to look within, to recognize the divine in ourselves, to trust our intuition, and to follow the inner guidance that has always been available to us, if only we are willing to listen. As we step into the Age of Aquarius, we begin to see the cracks in the old systems. The systems of control, manipulation, and division that have kept humanity in a state of disempowerment for so long are beginning to crumble. The old world of Pisces, built on hierarchical structures and external authorities, is falling away. And with it, the illusion of separation that has plagued us for centuries is starting to dissolve. Aquarius represents the awakening of the individual, but not in a way that promotes selfishness or isolation. It represents the recognition that true power comes from unity, from the collective consciousness, from understanding that we are all connected by the same divine source. While Pisces taught us that our salvation lay in surrendering to something outside of ourselves, Aquarius calls us to surrender to our own inner wisdom and to the higher consciousness that resides within each of us. The Age of Aquarius is the age of enlightenment. It is the age where knowledge becomes available to all, not just to the elite, the chosen, or the enlightened few. In Aquarius, the waters of wisdom are poured out for all to drink, and no longer do we have to look to external authorities for answers. The answers are within. The wisdom of the ancients, the secrets of the universe, the power to create our own realities, all of these are available to us if we are willing to look within and trust the divine guidance that is always present. But this shift is not without its challenges. The old systems will fight to maintain their control. The forces of separation, fear, and division will try to pull us back into the Piscean mindset, the mindset of duality, of us versus them, of scarcity and of powerlessness. But the Age of Aquarius offers us a new paradigm. It offers us the paradigm of oneness, of cooperation, and of mutual empowerment. In Aquarius, we are not meant to be in competition with one another. We are meant to collaborate, to share our knowledge, our talents, and our gifts for the collective good. Aquarius is the sign of the community, of shared responsibility, and of collective evolution. In this age, we are all called to step into our personal power, but we are also called to recognize that our individual freedom is inextricably linked to the freedom of others. True liberation comes when we work together to raise the collective consciousness, to heal the wounds of separation, and to create a world where every soul can thrive. The Age of Aquarius calls us to question everything we have been taught. It asks us to let go of the old paradigms that no longer serve us, and to embrace a new way of thinking, a new way of being. It is the age of awakening, the age where we are no longer slaves to external authorities, but masters of our own reality. We are not victims of the world. We are co-creators of it. As we awaken to the energy of Aquarius, we begin to realize that our old paradigms, those taught to us through the Age of Pisces, were not designed to help us evolve, but to keep us trapped in cycles of limitation. The illusion of separation has kept humanity in constant conflict, both internally and externally. It has fostered the belief that we must fight for survival, that we must compete for resources, and that our power lies in external achievements. Aquarius, however, shows us that our power is not found in competition, but in cooperation. It is not found in seeking external validation, but in aligning with our authentic selves. This is the true revolution of Aquarius. the shift from scarcity to abundance, from fear to love, from individualism to unity. We are not separate. We are interconnected. Our actions and choices affect the entire collective, and it is through our collective consciousness that we will rise to new heights, breaking free from the chains that the Piscean age has imposed upon us. In the Age of Aquarius, our understanding of the world is no longer limited by the material or the visible. Aquarius opens the doors to higher dimensions of consciousness, to realms beyond the physical, where we are able to perceive and access the infinite potential of the universe. We begin to understand that we are not bound by time and space, and that our true essence is eternal, limitless, and expansive. This shift in consciousness will affect every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our work, our environment, and our role in the greater cosmic picture. In Aquarius, we are called to transcend the old fears that have kept us separated from each other, and to embrace a new paradigm of unity and love. The way we interact with others, with the earth, and with the divine will shift dramatically as we align with this new frequency. But to truly embody the energy of Aquarius, we must first let go of the old programs that no longer serve us. We must release the limiting beliefs, the patterns of fear and scarcity, the conditioning that has taught us to live in survival mode. We must learn to trust ourselves, to trust the process of awakening, and to trust that we are supported by the universe as we step into our power. The Age of Aquarius is not just about individual awakening. It is about collective liberation. It is the dawning of a new world, one where every soul is empowered to live in their truth, to fulfill their purpose, and to contribute to the collective evolution. This is a time of spiritual and societal transformation, a time to shed the old skins of the past and embrace a new, expansive vision of humanity. As we begin to understand the true essence of Aquarius, it becomes clear that the transition from Pisces is not just a shift in the stars, but a shift in our own minds and hearts. The Age of Pisces has taught us to rely on external authority, to seek salvation outside of ourselves, to believe that the answers lie in the distant heavens or in the teachings of others. Aquarius, however, calls us to look inward, to reconnect with our own inner wisdom, and to realize that we are the creators of our own reality. The power of Aquarius is in its radical liberation. It is the freedom to be who we truly are, to break free from the societal norms, the roles, and the expectations that have kept us confined. No longer are we bound by the limitations of the past, the dogmas of religion, or the narrow definitions of success and happiness. Aquarius invites us to break down the walls that separate us, to transcend the fears that divide us, and to see ourselves not as individuals isolated from one another, but as an integral part of the whole. This shift will require courage, the courage to question everything we have been taught, the courage to step outside of the conventional, and the courage to trust ourselves. For the first time in history, we are being called to live authentically, to honor our unique gifts, and to contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. Aquarius is the age of true individual sovereignty, but it is also the age of collective unity. It is the understanding that our individual freedom is intertwined with the freedom of others. We cannot be free until everyone is free. The more we align with the energy of Aquarius, the more we begin to see the interconnectedness of all things. We realize that we are not separate from the earth, from the stars, or from each other. We are all expressions of the same divine energy, and our true power comes from this realization. As we embrace this unity, we begin to see the world in a new light, one where cooperation, compassion, and mutual respect replace competition, greed, and fear. Aquarius invites us to evolve beyond the duality of Pisces. Where Pisces taught us to separate the sacred from the mundane, the physical from the spiritual, Aquarius teaches us that everything is sacred, everything is interconnected, and everything has a divine purpose. We are not merely human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. This understanding shifts our entire approach to life, from how we work, to how we love, to how we care for the planet. As we stand on the threshold of the Age of Aquarius, the old paradigms seem more fragile than ever. We feel the stirrings of something new, a deep and undeniable pull toward freedom. But not the kind of freedom we were taught to seek. This freedom doesn't come from external victories, from accumulating wealth, or from securing power over others. It comes from within. It comes from reclaiming our own divine nature and recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. This is the freedom that Aquarius offers. It is the liberation of the soul from the chains of fear, division, and control. It is the awakening to the truth that we are not separate from the universe, but an expression of the divine, inextricably woven into the fabric of existence. The stars, the earth, the air we breathe, and the people we encounter, they are all part of the same cosmic dance. And when we align with this universal flow, we are no longer trapped by the limitations of our past, the expectations of society, or the false beliefs that have kept us in the dark. Aquarius is not just the age of awakening for the individual, but for the collective. It is the realization that true power is not wielded in isolation, but through unity, through collaboration, and through the understanding that our individual actions ripple outward, affecting the whole. The Age of Aquarius calls us to step into a new paradigm of collective consciousness, one where we no longer see ourselves as separate entities struggling against one another, but as a unified force capable of creating profound transformation on a global scale. The transition to Aquarius is not an easy one. It requires a profound shift in how we see the world, how we see ourselves, and how we see others. It demands that we let go of the old fears that have held us back, the illusions that have blinded us, and the narratives that have kept us confined. But the rewards are worth the effort. When we embrace the energy of Aquarius, we align ourselves with the flow of the universe. We become co-creators, not just of our own destiny, but of the collective future. This is the key to freedom, the ability to awaken to our true nature and to recognize the infinite potential within ourselves and the world around us. The Age of Aquarius invites us to see beyond the surface, to tune into the deeper currents of life, and to understand that the path to liberation is not about escaping from the world, but about fully embracing it with an open heart and mind. So, as we step into this new era, ask yourself, are you ready to let go of the old dreams? Are you ready to break free from the limitations of the past and step into the fullness of your true power? The universe is waiting for you to claim your place in this grand cosmic dance. The stars are shifting, the energy is changing, and the time for your awakening has come. Now is the time to embrace the freedom that is already within you. The Age of Aquarius is not just a time in history. It is the moment when the soul remembers its divine origin and begins to live as the sovereign being it was always meant to be. Will you answer the call? Want more eye-opening content about the unseen world and spiritual truths? Subscribe now and make sure to share this video with your friends. Together, we can unravel the deepest secrets of existence